Nobel Laureate, dear Jody Williams, thanks for joining us. Thank you for accepting that interview.
I like talking with you.
Thank you, Jody. Very kind of you. So you have sent a letter to Kurdish leader Mr. Abdullah Öcalan. Earlier, I would like to start with the one that you sent it to ECHR, the Council of Europe, European Parliament. What kind of response are you expecting from the European institutions? Do you think the time for concrete action has now come, as this letter has been signed by 82 different Nobel laureates as well? So it was very important. Let's start with that one.
What do I expect? Given their history of inaction, it seems we must find ways to pressure them more. As we were talking about before we started the interview, it's sort of a depressing time in global political history, and I think people who want real democracy, people who want equality, people who do not want one man, such as Mr. Musk, to have a personal fortune of $1 trillion. It's time for peaceful action for change. It's depressing in many ways when representatives of political entities do not do anything to respond to the calls of the people they supposedly represent. Often I think about, how people just get depressed and don't want to do anything. Yet what really brings about change, even individually, right, is when you decide that you have to be active for positive change. That's my thinking, which is why I'd like to someday meet Mr. Öcalan and talk about that with him.
Exactly, we will come to that as well. I will ask, definitely. This is a special question, but it was very important that 83 different Nobel laureates come together and sent this letter to the European institutions. So I think, just to make it more clear, so technically, do you expect any answer from them?
If we don't hear soon, we'll push them again. One can only wait for so long. If you send a letter and ask for information and you get nothing, it's imperative to send a different letter and press again and get in touch with political people and civil society in those countries to push their so-called representatives for change.
Thank you, Jody. So secondly, the letter also strongly emphasized Abdullah Öcalan's right to hope. So do you believe the Council of Europe now has a responsibility to push Turkey to implement this right in line with European legal standards? What is your call to the European Union and its institutions?
Get up, take action, respond to the responsibility that you hold as a member of these institutions. Doing nothing is not acceptable. That's my personal feeling. I believe human beings are created equal in the sense of their right to struggle for the kind of government, the kind of country, the kind of society that they want to live in. And it's fine to take peaceful action to make that happen. It's too easy to ignore people if we do nothing.
So in the letter you also recently sent to Abdullah Öcalan, what was your strongest message to him? How do you see Öcalan's role today in terms of peace and democratic solution?
Given how he is recognized by the Kurdish people, it is imperative that he is free and able to participate fully in dialogue for change. His leadership in stopping the PKK, his leadership in calling for disarmament, his leadership in recognizing that peace comes with peaceful dialogue. Peace really does not ultimately come through the barrel of a gun or through a killer robot or through nuclear weapons, for example. People have to start talking to each other to bring about change.
Thank you, Jody. So also, how do you see Öcalan's role today in terms of peace and democratic solution? What is his contribution to that?
Well, he needs to be free to contribute, um, given the fact that Kurdish people recognize him as a critical leader in a process for democracy, he must be free. If he's still imprisoned, still isolated, how can he participate meaningfully in change? A sign of hope for not just him, but for the people, the Kurdish people who want a different future, is seeing him freed and actively participating for a different future. It's critical.
Thank you, Jody. Also, we need to talk about the other side of the peace process as well, which is Ankara, the Turkey. So, for the current peace discussions in Turkey to succeed, what do you believe is the most critical step that Ankara must take? Of course, the freedom for Öcalan is the main step, but also there is some other steps that needs to be taken. So, what is your call to Mr. Erdoğan and his administration on ongoing peace process?
I think he should establish an ongoing series of meetings and dialogue leading to equality and democracy. He needs people from the United Nations, from the European Union, from other entities to be able to participate and opine. I believe that of any country where a so-called strong man holds power and uses that power to diminish the democratic values and beliefs and laws of a country, like Mr. Trump is doing in my country since the day he took office.
Thank you. Also, to make this topic a very clear to the point message, many people are thinking the Kurds are only seeking freedom for Öcalan for their own needs, basically. But on the other hand, do you think Abdullah Öcalan's freedom is also for the democratic future and sustainability of the Turkey as whole will be benefiting from his freedom?
Absolutely. If his freedom also is part of a process that I was, briefly describing, where other political entities and civil society are part of the process. The world, obviously, in most people's mind, has negatively changed. The poles of power are shifting, and we need to be involved to be able to shift them in a way that recognizes the people of these countries. A country is not just its so-called political leader. It is the hopes and aspirations of the people who live in the country. And, Turkey is not just Turkish people, it's Kurds, it's other people. They need to be involved in a process which is transparent and open with the leadership they believe in, Mr. Öcalan, as part of that process. Clearly, the wars and violence in today's world have not made us a safer place. They have made people feel more vulnerable, afraid. And the only way to change that is to sit down and talk about equal change. Equal change, meaning that if I am a Kurd and I live in Turkey, I still have the right to democratic values. I have the right to be recognized as a citizen of the country in which I live, and the rules should apply to everybody. Probably it sounds simplistic, but I believe what I say, and I've been trying to do this since Vietnam. So perhaps I have no right to speak since I have not been particularly successful.
Thank you, Jody. For many years, the international community mostly remained a spectator regarding the Kurdish issue, and they watch it from the outside. And why do you think it is important to raise a stronger voice today in this momentum?
Because the Middle East is a volatile region, as we know, with Mr. Trump's war against Iran, Mr. Trump's support of Israeli policies of genocide and ethnic cleansing. We need that region, like all regions of this, world, to change. We need individuals of all walks of life to feel like they are part of a process of change. It's not just for Mr. Erdoğan to decide how people living in Turkey should be treated. It's for everybody to decide how they want to be treated and to create the political system that allows that to happen. And that means people who don't always have the same point of view need to learn how to talk to each other and create the system that is fair to all. It sounds like a fairy tale sometimes, especially right now in the world. But, fairy tales can come about if people act together with positive intention to make a system that recognizes everybody. And that doesn't mean I have to love them. I say this often, and I'm sure it shocks people. I don't like everybody. I'm a normal human being. There's some people who irritate me, just like there are people who, irritate each other, but that does not mean that I have the right to oppress them. I won't invite them to my house for dinner. But I recognize their right to live in an equal legal system that supports the needs and aspirations of all people in the country and in the world.
Exactly. That was very to the point and clear, dear Jody. Thank you. So, as a Nobel Peace Prize laureate who has been actively advocating for Kurdish leader Öcalan's freedom together with the dozens of other Nobel laureates, why do you personally believe Öcalan's freedom is important for peace? And what is the broader message that the other Nobel laureates also want to send through this support what they are also saying? Because as you know, there is not many opportunity to do some interviews and hear from them as well, but you are also the chair of the Nobel laureates initiative, peace initiative. So on behalf of them also, what would you like to say?
Well, I've worked with the laureates in terms of political messages around the world for a long time, and I believe that it is because we share the same understanding of what makes the world a better place, what inspires humanity. It isn't violence. It isn't, oh God, I don't, you bother me, so I'm going to shoot you. It's how can we talk together and carve out a political system that recognizes your desires, my desires, and finds ways to peacefully resolve the differences. It's hard work. But war is not the answer. What are we in the 4th year of Russia's invasion of Ukraine? And it has not brought about the change Mr. Putin sought. The only way to resolve the problem is for dialogue, discussion, and valuing each other. Not, again, I'm going to say it so people don't get confused. You don't have to like them. We have to rethink how a huge millions of people live together on this planet. And it certainly isn't by war. It's not living together.
Yeah.
In today's world, I think about war a lot and what drives men to war. And you notice I say men, not that there aren't women soldiers, but it's men who pursue war.
Also, Mr. Öcalan has writings about.
Yeah, I know about women's rights.
What do you think about his idea, especially for the laying down the arms and ruling the world in a democratic way, with much more democratic society, establishments like communal living, this kind of manifest also his manifest as well. What do you think about these ideas?
I think that they are ideas worth pursuing, ideas worth discussing. What I was saying, we don't always agree on everything, but if we don't agree, we have to have a strong basis of democracy and equality upon which to build our systems. The decisions to commit genocide because I don't like the opposition in today's world are part of the reason that people fear the future. And fear does not bring about really good political solutions to problems for us all.
Thank you, Jody. Also, you have written a letter with 82 different Nobel laureates. Also, you personally sent a letter to Mr. Öcalan as well, but also through the Medya TV, the Kurdish national TV, via our channel. What message would you personally like to send Kurdish leader Mr. Öcalan after your letter, of course, just to mention it? He might be able to watch this interview in the future. So if you also one day you had the chance to meet Mr. Öcalan face to face, what would you most want to ask or tell him?
Well, I'd like to hear him describe his process of change. It'd be like Mandela, his process of change. Mandela started out as an armed opposition to the South African government. He spent years on Robben Island. What causes people to change in that sense? What causes people to want to kill the opposition in the beginning and then realize that the only way for a real peaceful future is by dialogue? Even if it's hard, even if people say things that you don't particularly care for, the only way to create systems of peace and prosperity is through dialogue. It is not through war.
What does this campaign personally mean to you, and why is what is the importance of collecting all these people together for freedom for Öcalan?
Well, given the number of years he's been kept in isolation on an island in the middle of nowhere, to have recognized international leaders come together in support of change and support of positive dialogue for change is critical. One thing that I have liked about being a Nobel Peace Laureate is the ability of bringing Nobels together to advocate for positive change on this planet. You know, the environment, taking care of other species, the whole shtick that is life on this planet. It is empowering to work with people who put their personal, let me think how I would say this better, who are willing to put their person on the line for other people. If people are willing to do that, it helps people who despair to recognize that if you want to make the world a better place, you have to take action to make that happen.
Thank you so much, Nobel Laureate Jody Williams. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your valuable comments. It's a honor. It's a big honor for me to speak to you always.
I love to speak to you.